Have you ever walked away from a conversation with a woman wondering what went wrong? You thought the interaction went well. She smiled, she laughed. She seemed engaged. Yet afterwards she pulled away, stopped responding, or never gave you a real chance. And now you're stuck replaying every moment, trying to figure out what you missed. Maybe you've experienced it before. You meet someone you genuinely like. You try to say the right things, you show interest, you make yourself available, but somehow the attraction never grows. Meanwhile, another guy appears and suddenly she seems fascinated by him. Not because he's better looking, not because he's richer, yet something about him captures her attention in a way that feels effortless. I'm here to tell you something important. This was never your fault. Nobody taught you this. Most men were taught to focus on what they say. Women often respond to something much deeper, something emotional, something subconscious, something that happens long before attraction becomes visible. And today, we're going to talk about the one sign that almost always reveals when a woman is secretly attracted to you. But before we get there, you need to understand why so many men miss it. And I'll warn you now, the final one is incredibly powerful. It can change everything fast, and almost no one uses it correctly. I'm here with Alpha Male, where we uncover the real psychology that creates desire. The biggest mistake men make is assuming attraction looks obvious. They expect dramatic flirting, constant compliments, clear signals, direct interest. But female attraction rarely works that way. Evolutionary psychology suggests that attraction often develops beneath conscious awareness. People make rapid emotional assessments using mental shortcuts. They scan for confidence, stability, social intelligence, emotional safety, value, not logically, emotionally. A woman may not even realize why she's becoming attracted to someone. She just feels different around him. And that brings us to the sign. When a woman is secretly attracted to you, she consistently invests attention in you. That's it. Not attention because she has to. Attention because she wants to. She notices you. She remembers details. She finds reasons to stay engaged. She keeps coming back. Everything else grows from that. The problem is most men focus on surface behaviors while ignoring the deeper pattern underneath. Attention is the root. The rest are branches. Once you understand why women invest attention, everything starts making sense. And the first trigger that creates this effect is masculine presence. Not looks, not height, not money. Presence. Grounded energy. The ability to remain calm when everyone else is seeking validation. Women are highly sensitive to emotional stability because stability signals strength. Think about it. When you're talking to her, are you fully present or are you mentally chasing approval? When a woman shares an opinion and you instantly agree with everything she says because you're afraid she'll lose interest, she feels the insecurity. When you stay grounded and express your genuine perspective respectfully, she feels something different. Strength, certainty. A simple example. She says she loves a movie. You don't. Instead of pretending, you smile and say, "Really, I couldn't get through the first hour." Playful, relaxed, honest, no fear. That's presence. A man who stays centered becomes memorable. The second trigger is emotional challenge. This is where polarity begins. Many men become predictable because they constantly try to impress. Women often experience endless validation. What they remember is emotional movement, playful tension, unexpected reactions. Not hostility, not games, playfulness. Imagine she jokingly claims she's always right. Instead of agreeing, you smile and say, "That sounds exactly like something a person who's wrong would say." Now she's laughing. Now she's engaged. Now there's energy. Attraction grows through emotional experiences, not interviews. A little challenge creates curiosity. Curiosity creates investment. Investment creates attention. Simple. The third trigger is selective attention. This one changes everything. Most men accidentally communicate scarcity. They respond instantly. They're always available. They organize their lives around a woman they've barely met. The intention is good. The result isn't. Humans naturally value what appears valuable. A man with purpose has things to do, goals to pursue, people who matter, a life that exists beyond romantic attention. When she senses that your attention isn't given away freely, she pays more attention to it. Not because you're withholding, because you're living. You're busy building, you're growing, you're moving forward. Imagine this. You enjoy talking to her, but you disappear for a few hours because you're training, working, creating, or spending time with friends. You return later with the same warmth and confidence. No explanations, no apologies, no anxiety. That signals value. Your life matters too. And value attracts attention. If this is making sense so far, hit subscribe and join Alpha Male Community. It helps more men learn what they were never taught. Now let's go deeper. Because attention alone isn't enough. You have to know how to keep it. The fourth trigger is intentional listening. Most people hear words, very few people hear meaning. When a woman feels emotionally seen, something powerful happens. Her guard drops, not immediately, gradually. Think about how rare real listening has become. People wait for their turn to speak. People interrupt. People drift away mentally, but when you remember small details, you stand out. Maybe she mentioned months ago that she was nervous about a presentation. Later, you ask how it went. Not because you're performing, because you genuinely remembered. That moment matters. More than most men realize. She suddenly feels understood, seen, valued. Attention creates attraction, but understanding deepens it. The woman who feels invisible around everyone else remembers the man who noticed. Always. And here's something interesting. Research into social bonding consistently shows that emotional validation strengthens interpersonal connection. Not agreeing with everything. Understanding there's a difference. One is approval, the other is connection. Connection wins, every time. The fifth trigger is calibrated vulnerability. This one surprises many men. For years, men were told to hide everything, show no weakness, reveal nothing. But that's not confidence. That's armor. Real confidence allows honesty, controlled honesty, intentional honesty. A woman doesn't connect with perfection. She connects with humanity. The key is balance. You don't dump your problems onto her. You don't play the victim. You simply reveal something real. Maybe you share a challenge you overcame. Maybe you talk about a lesson that changed your perspective. Maybe you admit a mistake that helped you grow. Notice the difference. You're not seeking rescue. You're sharing depth. Depth creates trust. Trust creates emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy increases attention. And attention is still the sign. Remember that. Because every trigger we're discussing feeds into the same outcome. She becomes more invested, more curious, more engaged. She wants to know more. That's attraction growing beneath the surface. Now let's talk about something many men either rush or completely avoid. The sixth trigger is gradual physical touch. Respectful, natural, calibrated, nothing forced, nothing manipulative. Human beings are wired for connection. Physical contact can release oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. But timing matters, context matters, respect matters. Imagine you're sharing a laugh and lightly touching her arm for a second. Natural, brief, appropriate, no pressure, no agenda, just connection. What matters isn't the touch itself, it's how she responds. Does she stay close? Does she seem comfortable? Does she lean in? Does she find reasons to remain near you? Remember the sign: attention, investment, engagement. Attraction often reveals itself through willingness to stay connected, not through dramatic declarations, not through movie scenes, through small moments repeated consistently. And that brings us to the final trigger, the one almost nobody understands: controlled unpredictability. This isn't inconsistency, it's mystery. There's a difference. Many men become completely predictable. Every conversation follows the same pattern. Every interaction feels identical. The emotional experience never changes. But attraction thrives on anticipation. Dopamine, one of the brain's key reward chemicals, is heavily connected to uncertainty and expectation. The possibility of a rewarding experience can become more exciting than the reward itself. Think about your favorite movie, your favorite story, your favorite adventure. The unknown pulls you forward. The same principle applies to attraction. A woman becomes intrigued when she can't fully predict you. Not because you're confusing, because you're multidimensional. One day you're playful, another day you're thoughtful. Sometimes you're serious, sometimes you're adventurous. You reveal new layers over time. For example, instead of always meeting at the same places, you introduce a new experience. Instead of having the exact same conversations, you share a different perspective. Instead of revealing everything immediately, you allow discovery. This creates emotional momentum, and emotional momentum creates attention. The strongest form of attraction isn't obsession, it's curiosity. The desire to know more, the desire to stay connected, the desire to keep exploring. Now let's come back to the sign, the one sign a woman secretly attracted to you almost always shows. She invests attention, consistently, not perfectly, not constantly, but consistently. She remembers things. She asks questions. She notices details. She looks for opportunities to interact. She stays engaged longer than necessary. She responds with effort. She becomes curious about your life, your opinions, your experiences, your future. Why? Because attraction creates focus. Focus creates investment. Investment creates attention. That's the pattern. Many men miss this because they're waiting for obvious signals. They're searching for certainty. They want guarantees. But attraction doesn't begin with guarantees. It begins with small investments, tiny moments, tiny choices, tiny signs. A woman who secretly likes you often starts paying attention before she starts flirting, before she starts complimenting, before she fully understands her own feelings. Attention comes first. And here's something important. Never use these ideas as tricks. Never use them to manipulate. Never use them to create artificial attraction. That's not what this is about. These are real tools, not tricks. The goal isn't to control anyone. The goal is to become the kind of man who naturally inspires attention. A man with purpose, a man with presence, a man who listens, a man who challenges respectfully, a man who values connection, a man who lives a full life. Because when you become that man, something interesting happens. You stop chasing. You stop obsessing. You stop analyzing every text message. You stop measuring your worth through someone else's attention. And paradoxically, that's often when attraction starts finding you. The energy changes, the pressure disappears, the desperation fades. Women feel it, people feel it. Everyone responds differently to a man who knows who he is. That's why this conversation isn't really about women. It's about you. It's about understanding the deeper patterns that create connection. It's about realizing that your struggles were never proof that something was wrong with you. You weren't broken. You were untaught. Nobody explained the sequence. Nobody showed you how attraction actually develops. Now you know. Presence first, challenge second, purpose third, listening fourth, vulnerability fifth, connection sixth, mystery seventh. Layer by layer, step by step. Each one encourages attention. Each one increases investment. Each one strengthens attraction. And together they create something powerful. Not a performance, not a character, not a mask. A stronger version of yourself. That's the real goal. Because women aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for authenticity combined with strength. Warmth combined with confidence. Depth combined with direction. You don't need perfect words. You don't need flawless looks. You don't need endless tricks. You need awareness. You need intention. You need strategy. The man who understands these principles walks differently, speaks differently, listens differently, lives differently. Not because he's pretending, because he finally understands what matters. So remember this. When a woman is secretly attracted to you, watch where her attention goes. Attention reveals interest. Attention reveals curiosity. Attention reveals investment. An investment reveals attraction long before words ever do. Carry that understanding with you. Use it with respect. Use it with intention. Use it to build genuine connections. Because the strongest attraction is never forced. It's earned through who you become. And once you understand that, you've already started leveling up. If you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming the man women genuinely desire, subscribe to Alpha Male now. Turn on notifications because the next one will shift your reality again.